For exclusive content that Shikama offers, join us over at Patreon as supporter of the Shikama Live Show. That's video content you won't see on YouTube that can help you grow and maintain your wealth, financial education wrapped up in plain English, and video series of interesting and thought-provoking topics. Join us at bit.ly/patroncheck. It's the first link in the information box. You hear about the stock market all the time. You ever wonder how much money changes hands on the stock market in a day? Well, let's not even go a day. That's way too much. Let's go an hour. So I came up with this question. And of course, as I'm typing, Google goes, oh, no. There's millions of people who have asked this very question. Let me complete this entire sentence for you. So I pull up the question, and bam, the first guy has a chart. $20 million in 1 hour. Now, I heard on the radio broadcast, I listen to talk radio, I listen to a lot of financial, a lot of legal stuff. And the reporter says, okay, do you think we're going to have a really big crash? You think you're really going to have a really big crash? And the investor guy goes, listen, look, here is how this works. That whole Main Street stuff, nobody on Wall Street cares about that. And the Federal Reserve doesn't care about anything other than Wall Street. And they will never let Wall Street, or not just Wall Street, they will never let the American big stock exchanges fall. Because that's what they're really there for. They're not there to protect the economy. They're not there to save inflation or reduce inflation or stop deflation. They will do whatever they can to make sure stocks are still traded. Why? Because they have a hand in it. All of the big banks, I'm talking about the big banks, the big commercial banks, not the banks that you go to, not the banks that I go to, the big, huge commercial banks. They all are on Wall Street, and the Federal Reserve sits on top of all of those banks. So they have their finger in the stream of money that is exchanging hands at less than 1 second. Millions and millions and millions of dollars. Oh, I'm sorry. That wasn't $20 million trading hands in 1 hour. That was $20 million trading hands in 1 hour for one stock. Do you understand how ridiculous the amount of money is being traded? $20 million, one stock, 60 minutes. One stock. So the guy telling us that the Federal Reserve will never let the stock exchange fall led me to, how much money are we talking about here? That led to the question. And the question isn't even answerable. Some people are saying that $1 trillion trades hand in a day. $1 trillion. Do you know how ridiculous that is? The average human cannot even comprehend of what $1 trillion actually means. So $1 trillion trades hands each and every day. And a lot of these brokerage firms get a percentage of all of their trades. So can you imagine? So I said $20 million traded hands in 1 hour for one stock. Imagine the commission off of those trades for a brokerage firms. We are talking, people, massive amounts of money. Now, I don't want to come across as evil or mean, but do you honestly think that anything that you say to politicians, to your stupid movements, do you honestly think that anybody cares? Anybody worth something cares? When we are talking about companies, and what you might not understand is, yes, you have a company like Apple that makes stuff. You know I'm going for my certified financial analyst. You might not know that Apple also has a complete division of people like me who all we do is invest in other companies. That's a part of doing business for the company. So when the stock market goes down by 10% or up by 10%, all of these corporations are in on it. And you think you diligently writing and saying, oh, I don't like that TV show, or I don't like you voting for this. Do you honestly think these people actually listen to you? And if anything actually changes, I'm here to tell you, it had nothing to do with your stupid letter, your stupid phone call. And I'm saying it's stupid because it's so naive. Go back to that thing. I said $1 trillion goes through the stock market in a day. $1 trillion. You are competing with $1 trillion. No. Oh, no. 330 million people are trying to compete with $1 trillion a day. Yes, I know that the population is more than 330 million, but I'm saying all 330 million people in the United States that think they're going to do something have to compete against, about 10,000 people that are literally moving the planet with money. This is why I try and impart knowledge to people. And I say you're stupid because I'm telling you stuff, and I know that this information that I'm talking about is out there. And I know that it's available to everybody, and yet you still believe that somebody like Donald Trump is going to save you. Somebody like Ted Cruz is going to save you. Somebody like Obama is going to save you. What did I say? Even if you write CBS and say, oh, please bring back this show, and they bring back the show, it had nothing to do. I want to tell you, it had nothing to do with your letter. Nothing. And in fact, probably your letter or your phone call wasn't actually never heard. Even if you spoke to a person on the phone. Do you know 70% of the United States called into Congress against Obamacare, and it passed with flying colors? All of these Democrats that people say are so for the people. Well, if 70% of the population called in, wrote in, emailed in to say don't pass that, and they still passed it, what more evidence do you need that they're not listening to you? And for those of you who think that Obamacare is something great, you just haven't read the bill. I have a complete video going over the bill, and it has nothing to do with healthcare, and in fact, it's destroying healthcare as we know it. That was another show that I listened to. Not that I need to listen to a show to know that I read this myself. And if you look through my videos, you will find it. And in fact, I made videos telling you how to opt out of Obamacare and get much better healthcare, especially for men, because you have to pay for stuff that you are incapable of using, like a whole bunch of woman stuff. If you opt out and go into the programs that I'm talking about, you're going to get much better healthcare. Obamacare has nothing to do with healthcare. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Put the word healthcare out of your mind. But I just wanted to go over this, how much money changes hands in a single day in the stock market. And $1 trillion is a low estimate. We're talking about one stock exchange. Do you know how many there are hundreds of stock exchanges in the United States. Did you know that? Now, I'm not trying to cause fear. I'm trying to put you into perspective. Everybody thinks that they're a unique snowflake and that what they say is important. I'm trying to tell you, no, you're not important. All of these little groups, the feminist stuff, the men going their own way, I'm going to get a divorce. I'm going to divorce my man. I'm going to take half his money. All you're doing is simply feeding into the power structure that's already there. All of the women, everybody. Whatever cause that you think you stand for and that you're going to get the government to, the government is already waiting for you. They've already clocked your number. They already know. You're trying to compete with people who trade $1 trillion a day. You. And I go back to it. You writing your stupid letter to CBS to get Firefly back on the air means nothing to those people. Nothing. And the same thing with the women, same thing with the men. You thinking that you're doing some serious battle, you mean less than nothing. You are inconsequential. $1 trillion a day. That's what you're competing with. I want you to put your life into perspective in the United States. Let's not even talk about the rest of the world. In the United States, $1 trillion on one stock exchange. This is what you're in competition with. Now I ask you, can you compete with that? Oh, but my politician is different. No, your politician is not. You are competing with $1 trillion a day from one stock exchange. The other 100 or so stock exchanges out there, also, you're competing with all of them. Nothing that you think is super important is important to them. Obama armed ISIS. He's on record for saying it. And now, all of a sudden, ISIS is the bad guy. Okay, so when people turned on ISIS, or the media turned on ISIS, or whatever they designed for ISIS to be the bad guy all of a sudden, and I even made a video talking about the military coming out against supporting ISIS at the request of Obama. And I showed you pictures of them holding up signs, I am not going to support a terrorist. Pictures after pictures after pictures. I have a video already made about that. It's an old video. They already have your number. They already see you coming. You think you're so important. You think your cause is so important. And all you're doing is simply destroying yourselves. Be that white supremacy, black stuff, female stuff, white men stuff, whatever it is. Whatever group Jews, Italians, Mormons, Amish, whatever you think your group is super important. You are competing against people who trade $1 trillion a day. I just want you to, anytime you think that you're I'm going to do something about this, you're competing against $1 trillion a day. So what's the answer, Shikama? The answer is don't go to the government. Don't go to the government because they are not going to do anything. The only thing that you can do is decentralize any decision making. You don't go to the government because then you give the government the power to even talk about that issue, which is time and time again. I keep saying, stop going to the government. Well, nothing will get done. Yes, it will get done. Am I letting criminals in my house? No. That's how you do it. Well, that's just my house. Well, mind your own damn business. First of all, mind your own damn business. You don't have to speak for somebody else in their house. You don't. If they are not coming into your house, you have no say-so about them. Stop your damn movements for this, that, and the other. And if somebody does something to somebody that you care about, you handle just that. You don't go out looking for some sort of cause that you need to. Why? Because then you're competing with the people who are trading $1 trillion a day. Do I have to repeat myself? Do you get it? Is it going through your thick head? Decentralization is the power. The reason the United States is still standing is because there is a Texas and an Arkansas and a California and a Nevada and a Utah. What does that mean? That the power is completely decentralized. 90% of the power is decentralized, and the government keeps trying to pack at that. Our central government is not all powerful. Not yet. And trust me, you go into the government and then you cheering that the government stormed into somebody's house and, oh yeah, those people need to burn in hell. No. What's the poem about? First they came for the Jews, now they're coming for me? That's the poem that you need to think about. While you're slinging rocks and joining the government on the government, you should never, ever join the government because the government is against you. Do you understand the purpose of this video now? What did the guy say? Main Street is not a concern of the Federal Reserve. The stock exchange is the concern of the Federal Reserve. They will not let the stock exchange fall. What does that mean? What's the opposite of that mean? That means that the economy can go to complete hell and they won't even do a thing about it. The economy is in complete hell. We have upwards of 40% unemployment, real unemployment. Real. I'm not talking about what they say on the news. I'm talking about real unemployment. Literally 40% of the country does not work. Oh, I'm sorry. 40% of the country works. 60% does not work. Our economy is literally in shambles. And people are cheering and, the federal government has done what? Thank you for watching the Shikama Live Show. Remember, keep that in mind. You're competing with $1 trillion a day